There are a lot of reasons why I play music, but there are two main ones, and one of them was the inspiration of an old man that used to come to our town when I was just a kid, 6 or 7 years old. Maybe before, I don't remember. But this is the story of that old man. And if Bill Ymons gets a chance to see this tape, Bill, this is for you. In my memory I hear that old blind balladeer strolling down the streets of my hometown, with his voice so clear and strong, singing out them old-time songs. Lord, how I wish I could hear him now, singing songs like Cowboy Jack and the letter edged in black, the kind of tunes you build a boyhood on. Sometimes it brings a tear when once again I hear the songs I learned from that old balladeer. You asked me how come I started music. Well, one of the reasons was an old man that used to come to our town when I was just a kid. He used to walk around the square here in Greenville, and he had an old gray suit, an old black hat, a pair of dark glasses, an old Sears and Roebuck guitar, and on his lapel was a tin cup hung on there by a hook or something. And right beside him walked a little boy, barefoot, wearing striped blue overalls. And in one hand he carried a cup like his grandpa, or like his daddy. And in the other hand he carried a parcel of songbooks. And I asked my mama, I said, Mama, it's a cloudy day. How come that old man's wearing them dark glasses? She said, well, son, he's blind. He's an old preacher, lives over here in another town across the way. He makes his living by going around and singing. Folks put change in that cup, and they buy the songbooks from the little boy, and that's how the old boy makes his living for his family. Besides that, he preaches. But it was Depression time, and money was scarce, you know. But somehow or another, I wheedled a dime out of my mom and got her to buy me one of them songbooks. And I took it home and learned all of them. Of course, I knew a lot of them already because they were the same songs that our family sung. Well, I grew up. The old man came to town every summer. But I grew up in the 40s. I went away to put in my time in the Navy like everybody else was doing. And a quarter of a century passed. I came home, met my wife and married, and moved away to another town up north a ways. One day, I was sitting in the front office looking out the front window and had the door open. It was hot summertime. Things weren't going too good, and I was feeling a little sorry for myself. And I heard a voice, and I got goosebumps, because I recognized that voice immediately. And I thought, Lord, no, it can't be. Well, it's been a quarter of a century. And that old man was a gray-haired old man when I was just a tyke. He's got to be dead and gone by now. But I sit there watching, and there he come, right past the front window of my store. Same old gray suit, same old black hat, same old Sears and Roebuck guitar, same dark glasses, and the cup on his lapel. And right beside him walked a little barefoot boy, wearing bib overalls. Well, that was too much. So I got up and went out on the sidewalk and went up to the little fellow, and I said, son, is that the same old preacher that used to come to Greenville when I was a kid? He said, yes, sir. I said, well, he's got to be getting old. He said, yes, sir, he's 85, still going strong. I said, well, now you can't be that little boy that I saw a quarter of a century ago. And he said, no, sir, that was my daddy. I go with Grandpa now to show him the way. Would you like to buy a songbook, mister? I said, you better believe it, son. How much are they? He said, 39 cents. In my memory I hear that old Blind Balladeer, strolling down the streets of my hometown, with his voice so clear and strong, singing out them old-time songs. Lord, how I wish I could hear him now, singing songs like Cowboy Jack and the letter etched in black, the kind of tunes you build a boyhood on. Sometimes it brings a tear when once again I hear the songs I learned from that old balladeer.